Today's English word is drowsiness. Drowsiness. Now, as you listen to the story, see if you can guess the meaning of the word drowsiness. After 4 long hours, the doors finally opened. And when the doors opened, the doctor walked through and he had a smile on his face. When everyone saw the smile on the doctor's face, they breathed a sigh of relief. The doctor called for Mrs. Smith, the patient's wife, and said, "Mrs. Smith, you can come on back." As they were walking back to see Mrs. Smith's husband, the doctor said, "Mrs. Smith, there's something I need to let you know. Your husband had a wonderful surgery, but he needs to take these drugs every 3 hours." Mrs. Smith said, "That's not a problem at all." The doctor continued, "Now, Mrs. Smith, when your husband takes these drugs, he's going to be very tired. You see, these drugs can cause drowsiness, so I need to make sure that you understand that he can't drive and he can't operate heavy equipment." Mrs. Smith said, "That's not a problem at all. I totally understand." And at that moment, they arrived. They were right at the door of Mr. Smith's room. When Mrs. Smith walked through, she could tell her husband was still a little bit drowsy. He said, hey, baby, how are you?" She said, "Hey, baby, I'm doing good. How are you?" He said, I'm okay." She said, "Okay, honey, it's time for us to go home." And Mr. Smith said, "Baby, I'll drive. I can drive you home. I feel good." And the doctor looked at Mrs. Smith, and they both kind of looked at each other and kind of nodded their heads like, "Yep. He's still under the influence of the drugs." And Mrs. Smith said, "Honey, no, you can't drive because remember what the doctor said. The drugs cause drowsiness, so you can't drive." He said, "Oh, I'm fine, baby. I'm fine. I'll be awake the whole time." So Mrs. Smith said, "Honey, let's do this. I'll drive you home, but you can sit next to me and talk to me the whole way." And Mr. Smith said, "Hey, that's a good plan, baby. I'll do that for you." Again, he was still drowsy and under the influence of the drugs, but he didn't realize it. So Mrs. Smith walked Mr. Smith to the car and they got in and she turned the car on and Mr. Smith was still talking to her like, "Yeah, baby, I told you I'm okay." She said, "Yes, honey, I know." She turned the keys and started the car and she pushed the gas and proceeded to pull out of the driveway, the area that she was in near the hospital. Within 2 minutes, her husband was asleep. She looked at him and said, "I told you the drugs cause drowsiness." Now, can you guess the meaning of the word? All right, so the word drowsiness, this word just means feeling sleepy or half asleep. In English, we say drowsiness. You caught it from the story, right? So I want to remind you, though, I'm going to help you with the pronunciation. But remember, I want you to continue learning. So go to www.studywithtiffani.com and get the Daily English Vocabulary Package number 7. This package includes audio files, worksheets, and so much more to help you learn how to use this word and many other words in real life like a native English speaker. So again, www.studywithtiffani.com. All right, so let me show you and explain to you how to pronounce this word properly. Now, the word is longer than our previous word, right? But again, it's not too difficult. So we have drowsiness. Now, what I want to emphasize is actually in the middle of the word, the S-I. Now, normally the S sound is S, right? Like a snake. But listen to the word again, drowsiness. There's a Z sound, right? Well, that's because in this word, the S-I actually has the Z-I sound, Z, Z, drowsy. Drowsy, so Z, Z, Z. Let's put the E right here, all right? Let's do a double E. So Z. So I want you to think about putting your tongue right behind your front teeth. And you're going to vibrate Now, you can close your teeth together, put them together, and you want to have your tongue right behind and it's touching the top of your mouth, the roof of your mouth, but you're vibrating So even in your throat, you should feel the vibration. And I want you to think about a bee buzzing around. And that bee makes a sound, the bzzz. So here we have Z. So after me, drowsiness. Excellent. Last time after me, drowsiness. Good job. So now you know how to pronounce this word properly. Let me give you an example sentence using this word. Here's the sentence. Big meals during the day cause drowsiness. You know it's true, right? You get tired after eating a big meal. So one more time, the sentence. Big meals during the day cause drowsiness. Excellent. Now, try to use this word at least one time today, and I'll talk to you in our next lesson.